ay hatid sa inyo ng Equilibrium Probiotics. Ito ay ang bagong food supplement na gawa sa mga piling gulay at prutas at dumaan sa isang masusing proseso para mapangalagaan ang inyong kalusugan. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay dinisenyo para sa kalusugan ng ating tiyan, tulungan ng pagkuha ng sapat na nutrisyon at ang pagpapalabas sa ating sistema ng mga nakakasirang toxins. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may iba't ibang disenyo at sangkap base sa inyong pangangailangan. Mula sa boost para sa mga bata, fortitude, gusto grade, miracle fruit, periwinkle, at ang pinakabago, liver pro. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may pagmamalaki na produktong gawa sa China. Ito ay mabibili sa Lasien, Geta Road, San Sebastian, Phase 3, Binauganan, Tarlac City. At para sa mga malalayong lugar, mabibili din ang produkto ng Equilibrium Probiotics sa Lazada. Ito ay eksklusibong gawa ni Ginang Malu Reyes Murray. Ano pang hinihintay nyo, mga kasangga? Hala, bili na! MSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Hatid sa inyo ni Kuya Dong. Magandang umaga po sa kanilang lahat, mga kasangga. At dito naman po tayo, Lunes, no? May 1, 2023, Labor Day. Araw po ngayon ng mga manggagawa, yung ating mga kasangga, mga manggagawa. Magandang araw po sa kanilang lahat. At sana po yung araw na ito maging masaya para sa inyo. No? Dahil ito po inyong special day. Para sa mga mga pamilya na gagamitin yung pagkakataong mga pamasyal. Magandang umaga po at mag-iingat po sana tayo habang tayo nagpagdala, habang tayo namamasyal, habang tayo nagbi-beach. Dapat po may kasamang pag-iingat. Marami po yung mga na-aksidente, yung mga nakaraang linggo, kaya lalo na po yung mga nagpupunta ng mga beach, mga ilog. Dapat po isama po natin yung pag-iingat, no, sa paggala natin. Yung mga nagmamaneho, sana naman po huwag kayong mag-iinom kung kayo magmamaneho. Kasama po natin ang ating mga pamilya at dapat po yung ating atensyon 100% sa kalsada at hindi sa ating hangover. At siyempre po, nandito po tayo para magbalita uli. Yung ating pong daily dose of news, ibibigay ko po sa inyo sa loob lamang po ng 30 minuto. Try ko po, best effort, kasi nga po madalas tayo lumalampas. Pero bago po natin simulan yung ating panalangin, yung ating pagre-report, tayo po samahan niyo po muna ako sa isang maikling panalangin. Sa ngalan ng Ama, Anak, Espiritu Santo. Amen. Mahal naming lumikha, maraming salamat sa bagong araw na ipinagkaloob ninyo sa amin, sa mapayapang gabing lumipas, at sa patuloy na pagbuhos ng iyong mga biyaya sa amin at sa aming bayan. Naway pagkaloob po sa amin ang lakas at tibay ng loob upang mapaglabanan ng kasamaan at manatili po kami sa paggawa ng mabuti sa kapwa at sa pagsunod sa inyong itinurong tamang landas. Lahat ng gawain namin, inaalay namin sa iyong anak na si Jesus, na aming mahal na Panginoon. Amen. naman po inyong Kuya Dong. Nagbabalita sa inyo, May 1st, 2023, Lunes. Para sa ating mga top news for today. Mula sa Rappler, US urges China, stop harassing Philippine vessels. Washington, USA. The United States urged China on Saturday, April 29, to stop harassing Philippine vessels in the South China Sea, pledging to stand with the Philippines after another maritime confrontation between the two Asian countries. We call upon Beijing to desist from its provocative and unsafe conduct, the U.S. State Department said in a statement. The Philippines on Friday, April 28, accused China's Coast Guard of aggressive tactics following an incident during a Philippine Coast Guard patrol close to the Philippines-held Ayungin Shoal, Second Thomas Shoal, a flashpoint of previous altercations located 105 nautical miles or 195 kilometers off its coast. China on Sunday, April 30, said it was willing to handle maritime differences with countries of concern in the South China Sea through friendly consultations and warned the United States against interference. The U.S., as a country outside of the region, must not interfere with the South China Sea matter or use the South China Sea matter to sow discord among regional countries, a Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson said in a written statement. The Yungin Shoal is home to a small military contingent aboard a rusty World War II-era U.S. ship that was intentionally grounded in 1999 to reinforce the Philippines' territorial claims. In February, the Philippines said a Chinese ship had directed a military-grade laser at one of its supply vessels. China claims sovereignty over almost the entire South China Sea, with a 9-9 on maps that stretches more than 1,500 kilometers off its mainland and cuts into the exclusive economic zones of Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, and Indonesia. An international arbitral ruling in 2016 dismissed that line as having no legal basis. China's foreign ministry on Friday said Philippine vessels had intruded into Chinese waters and made deliberate provocative moves. The State Department said Washington stands with our Philippine allies in upholding the rules-based international maritime order. On to our next headline. Also from Rappler, supplied by Reuters. King Charles coronation to include invitation to public to swear allegiance. King Charles coronation on Saturday, May 6, will include an invitation to the public to swear allegiance to the monarch and to his heirs and successors, the Archbishop of Canterbury's office said, as it published the liturgy to be used for the event. The invitation to people to make their homage by participating in a chorus of millions of voices was listed among the new elements of an ancient ceremony in a statement from Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby's office. That part of the liturgy reads, all who so desire, in the Abbey and elsewhere, say together, I swear that I will pay true allegiance to your majesty and to your heirs and successors according to law. So help me God. In other firsts, the service will include other languages associated with the British Isles, a prayer in Welsh and a hymn in Welsh, Scottish Gaelic, Irish Gaelic, and female bishops will be able to participate, the statement said. Charles, who became monarch of the United Kingdom and 14 other realms on the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth, in September, is due to be crowned on Saturday at London's Westminster Abbey in a ceremony full of pomp, pageantry, and religious significance. This coronation celebrates the traditions of over 1,000 years, will be said on Twitter. It also features new and revised texts and other elements, and the participation of people of all ages and many faiths and backgrounds, as we look forward together with hope. The new parts will reflect the theme of serving others and represent and celebrate the country's diversity, with members of other faiths set to play an active role in the service for the first time, Welby's office said. In the latest details it is released on the event, Buckingham Palace said on Saturday, April 29, Charles will wear robes of crimson and purple silk velvet that were once worn by his grandfather, King George VI, at his own coronation in 1937. To the next headline, moving on to Inquirer.net. 7 alleged members of NPA die in encounter with military troops in Samar by Joey Gabieta and Robert Dejon of Inquirer.net. Tacloban City. At least 7 suspected members of the New People's Army were killed in an encounter with government troops in a remote village of Bobon Town, northern Samar, at about 3 a.m. on Sunday, April 30. Reports from the local police station of Bobon and the 8th Infantry Division based in Catbalogan City, Samar, showed that the latest skirmish between government soldiers and communist rebels took place in Barangay Santander, a remote village located 6 kilometers away from the town of Bobon. The soldiers, accompanied by the local police, went to the area to verify reports that some armed men were seen in Santander and nearby villages. When the soldiers from the 803rd Infantry Brigade were in the vicinity of Santander, they encountered around 40 armed men who engaged them in a 10-minute firefight. The rebels were identified as members of the Sub-Regional Guerrilla Unit and remnants of the dismantled Front Committee 2, Sub-Regional Committee Emporium of the Eastern Visayas Regional Party Committee, or EVRPC, led by Mario Sevillano alias Doro. The rebel leader was allegedly behind several attacks against government troops and civilians in northern Samar. The government troopers also conducted airstrikes since the area where the rebels were located was surrounded with anti-personnel mines. The soldiers recovered a R4 rifle, 2 M16 rifles, and 1 AK-47 rifle from the communist rebels. In a statement, Major General Camilo Ligayo, the commanding general of the 8th Infantry Division, commended his soldiers as he reiterated his call for the remaining NPA members to surrender and return to the folds of the law. We urge the remaining members of the communist terrorists to lay down their arms and go home to their families. The government is willing and eager to help you to start a normal life, he said. On to global news. Don't shut door on foreigners, migrants, Pope Francis says in Hungary. News supplied by Reuters with Inquirer.net. Budapest. Pope Francis on Sunday presided over a big outdoor mass where he urged Hungarians not to close the door on migrants and those who are foreign or unlike us. In contrast to the anti-immigrant policies of nationalist Prime Minister Viktor Orban, tens of thousands of people gathered in and around the square behind Budapest's iconic neo-Gothic parliament building, a symbol of the capital on the Danube, to see the Pope on the last day of his visit of the country to the country. He continued the theme he began on the first day of his visit on Friday, when he warned against the dangers in Europe, but put it in a gospel context, saying that closed doors were painful and contrary to the teachings of Jesus. Orban, a populist who was attending the Mass, sees himself as a protector of Christian values. He has said he would not allow Hungary to be transformed into an immigrant country, as he claims others in Europe have become unrecognizable to its native peoples. In his homily, 86-year-old Francis said that if Hungarians wanted to follow Jesus, they had to shun the closed doors of our individualism amid a society of growing isolation. The closed doors of our indifference towards the underprivileged and those who suffer. The doors were closed towards those who are foreign or unlike us, towards migrants or the poor. Francis believes migrants fleeing poverty should be welcomed and integrated because they can culturally enrich host countries and boost Europe's dwindling populations. He believes that while countries have a right to protect their borders, migrants should be distributed throughout the European Union. Orban's government has built a steel fence on the border with Serbia to keep out immigrants. In his homily, Francis also spoke against doors closed to the world. Peter Soke, leader of the Hungarian chapter of the Sant Egidio Peace Community, who attended the Mass, agreed with the Pope's prescription. There is great temptation to be self-referential, to refer everything only to ourselves, only to our own reality, whereas there are other realities too, the realities of the poor, the realities of other nations, the realities of wars, of injustices, he said. Sunday's homily was the second time Francis has used a religious context to make his point. On Friday, he quoted that Saint Stephen, the 11th century founder of Christian Hungary, had written about welcoming strangers. The 3-day trip of the Pope's first since he was admitted to hospital for bronchitis in March. On to the next headline. Paraguayans head to the polls with Taiwan ties at stake. News supplied by Reuters for Inquirer.net. Asuncion. Paraguayans are ready to head to the polls on Sunday in what could be the biggest electoral challenge to the ruling conservative Colorado Party in over a decade, with the country's near 70-year ties with Taiwan potentially at stake. The landlocked South American country
of under 7 million people will start voting from 7 a.m. with the distant favorites, ruling party candidate Santiago Peña, clean-cut economist, and veteran opposition lawyer Efrain Alegre. The ballot marks the sternest challenge in a decade for the Colorado Party, which has dominated Paraguayan politics since the 1950s and ruled for all but 5 of the last 75 years, but has been hit by a slowing economy and graft allegations. I want change, yes, but not with Colorado, because it's been them for over 70 years and we are suffering, said Miriam Sanabria, a food vendor in Asuncion. We need work, better security, and free medicines at hospitals. In the streets and news debates, the political build-up has been dominated by the economy, corruption, allegations, and the candidates' views on Taiwan. Paraguay is one of only 13 nations to maintain formal diplomatic ties with the democratically governed island that China claims as its own. Alegre has criticized Paraguay's diplomatic relations with Taiwan, which have made it hard to sell soy and beef to China, a major global buyer, and has said that the Latin American farm-driven economy does not get enough in return from Taipei. Nearly 5 million people are registered to vote in Sunday's single-round winner-takes-all presidential race. Paraguayans are also electing members of Congress and governors. The final results are expected from around 7 p.m. In final campaign events, Alegre took aim at corruption charges that have dogged Colorado Party leader Horacio Cortez, who was sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury this year. He called him the Pablo Escobar of Paraguay. Cortez denies the allegations. Peña acknowledged party divisions in his closing ceremony speech and promised to be a symbol of party unity. Paraguayan student Catherine Gonzalez felt none of the candidates offered things that most normal people needed. I think they're very far away from the day-to-day reality people live in. People who use public transport, the people who earn minimum wage and must survive, pay rent, and support their family, she said. That concludes our global news. On to the regional headlines. Uy, handa-handa nyo na po yung mga electric pan ng mga aircon. Ito na po yung susunod na balita from Inquirer.net. Heat index to remain around 40 degrees Celsius. Pag-asa. Reported by Dempsey Reyes for Inquirer.net. Manila, Philippines. The heat index in Metro Manila and other parts of the country will remain around 40 degrees in the next several weeks. The State Weather Bureau, Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration, or PAGASA, said in an update on Saturday. PAGASA recorded the heat index, an indicator of discomfort that an average person experiences due to temperature and humidity, as ranging between 37 degrees Celsius and 41 degrees Celsius from April 24 to 28. The Weather Bureau classifies a heat index between 42 degrees Celsius and 51 degrees Celsius as a danger category. But PAGASA said the risk of heat cramps, exhaustion, or heat stroke is already present even under the extreme caution category of 33 degrees to 41 degrees Celsius. It said the heat stroke could be imminent under the extreme danger classification of 52 degrees Celsius and beyond. Sunday forecast. The highest heat index so far was felt on April 16 at 49 degrees Celsius in Gian, Eastern Samar, the State Weather Bureau said. On Friday, the heat index there was recorded at 47 degrees centigrade Celsius. Pagkasa weather specialist Veronica Torres said temperatures will continue to rise in May as the country remains under the dry season. She said Sunday's heat index forecast in the Bureau's Metro Manila stations in 40 degrees Celsius at Manila's port area, 39 degrees Celsius at Ninoy Aquino International Airport, and 41 degrees Celsius at the Science Garden in Quezon City. Drink water, wear light. The highest forecast today is 45 degrees Celsius in Legazpi City, Albay. Torres advised the public, especially those who will take part in Labor Day activities on Monday, to avoid drinking warm beverages like coffee and to make sure they will drink lots of water so that we can avoid any cases of possible heat strokes that we face as we face the hot temperatures. Drinking alcoholic beverages should also be avoided for now. Torres also reminded people going out to bring umbrellas, wear hats, and light colored clothes. Good news for for some of our Manila residents. Magandang balita. Maynilad customers to get partial refund from Inquirer.net. At least 165,500 customers of Maynilad Water Services Incorporated will get a partial refund amounting to 10.81 million pesos in their May water bill. The company announced on Saturday in a statement, Maynilad said some of its lifeline customers or those who consume less than 10 cubic meters a month in the southern part of its concession area are eligible for the rebate. According to Maynilad, the rebate amount will depend on the unused portion of the lifeline customers' 10 cubic meters minimum consumption in March. If consumers only consume 1 cubic meter of 1 cubic meters but still pay the 136 minimum charge for 10 cubic meters, for example, they will be entitled to a rebate of 9 cubic meters or 121 pesos and 98 centavos. Hence, the rebate amount will vary depending on the customer's actual March 2023 consumption below 10 cubic meters. The company said Maynilad serves Pasay City, parts of Makati, Parañaque, Muntinlupa, Las Piñas, and Cavite Province, which suffered prolonged water interruptions until April 24th due to reduced production in the Putatan water treatment plants. Reported by Meg J. Adonis. on to sports. Updates on the UAAP. Lady Falcons Tigresses go through ringer in uphill battle to Final Four. Reported by June Navarro for Inquirer.net. Adamson and University of Santo Tomas took the long road to close out their elimination round schedules with victories in Season 85 of the UAAP Women's Volleyball Tournament. And it's about to get harder for both the Lady Falcons and Growling Tigresses in their respective quests moving forward. Adamson ground Far Eastern University 25-22, 28-26, 25-15, 25-17 on Sunday to seal number 3 ranking before Santo Tomas carved out a 25-21, 25-20, 22-25, 19-25, and 15-6 victory over the University of the Philippines as both take winning feelings ahead of the Final Four that starts on Wednesday at Smart Araneta Coliseum. The Lady Falcons and Tigresses will be clashing with the higher-ranked foes in the semifinals, with Adamson tangling with defending champion National University and fourth-ranked Santo Tomas colliding with number 1 LaSalle. They need to beat those powerhouses 2 straight times to advance to their title series, and it is a challenge the lower-ranked teams are not about to back out of. This is an opportunity for greatness. We won a set or two against NU in the elimination round, so it means we have a chance, said Adamson coach Jerry Yee, who lost both matches with the Lady Bulldogs in the eliminations. We have to play right. We know we can fight. We just have to play right, said Yee, whose solid core of hitters in Tricia Tubu, Lucille Almonte, Kate Santiago, middle blocker Lawrence Torin will play pivotal roles. Beating defending champion NU twice will catapult the Lady Falcons back to the finals for the first time since season 70, where they lost in the title series to Far Eastern. The season was also the finals finish in the elimination round for the Lady Falcons prior to this one, where they compiled a 10-4 record. We were just off against them in the second round, and skipper Louis Romero of a 25-22, 25-19, 25-27, 22-25, and 15-10 loss last March 1st. We have to play solid as a team if we want to win. We never expected to be here. We'll prepare hard and make sure to execute well. It's going to be now or never, said Romero. Santo Tomas is responsible for LaSalle's only loss for the season, and team leader Era Laure is all pumped up after a sterling 28-point effort against the Lady Maroons. We have an ongoing rivalry with LaSalle, and it's quite motivating. We know that they will come prepared, said Laure, the tournament's leading scorer. LaSalle is LaSalle. While they have a strong system in place, we will just continue to match it with our own system. Absent stars. We will bring the lessons that we've learned after this game, which 5 sets, said Santo Tomas coach Kung Fu Reyes, whose charges also close out at 10-4 but lost in the quotient to draw LaSalle. These things we will treasure going into the Final Four. Laure scored the Tigres' final 5 points as the squad made two even without Bernadette Pepito, who was out due to dehydration, and Filipino-Italian Miliana Alessandrini, who had to sit out because of a nagging knee injury. Both, though, are expected back come Wednesday. Regina Horrado contributed 15 points to the Tigres' cause. Amy Hernandez and Rene Peñafiel added 14 and 11 points, while gutsy setter Casey Carvalho had 20 excellent sets. Saisa Gula had 22 digs and 11 receptions. Some of the players stepped up in the absence of those who were not able to play. Laura added, they embraced the roles and accepted the challenge. On to basketball. Tough World Cup grouping sets up rough Paris journey for Gilas by Denison Ray A. Dalupang, reporter for Inquirer.net. The Philippines will try to quench its never-ending thirst to return to the basketball competitions of the Summer Olympics when it co-hosts this year's International Basketball Federation or FIBA World Cup. And its route will be littered with familiar stumbling blocks. Gilas Pilipinas will face the Dominican Republic, Angola, and then power Italy in the classification round of the Global Showcase starting August 25, looking to not only turn in a better performance after a ghastly outing in China the last time, but also hoping to become the best Asian finisher to get to Paris next year. Our objective here is to get the Olympics in 2024. That is the goal. That is the dream. National coach Chuck Reyes told reporters shortly after the draw at Smart Araneta Coliseum in Cubao, Quezon City last Saturday night. Hopefully, we can get a win or two in this World Cup to give us a chance to qualify, he went on. This year's edition of the World Cup, which will be co-hosted by Japan and Indonesia, will serve as a pathway to the Olympics in the French capital. Gilas will be tested right away on opening day, facing the Dominicans at the Philippine Arena in Bukawe, Bulacan. The visitors are shaping up as a handful, especially if they decide to bring in NBA standouts like Karl Anthony Towns of the Minnesota Timberwolves and Chris Duarte of the Golden State Warriors. Angola seems to be the lightest assignment for the Philippines, but the Africans are no pushovers either, with Atlanta Hawk Bruno Fernando at their disposal for the duel set on the 27th. Biggest hurdle. The Philippines will have its steepest crack on the 29th when it battles Italy, the world number 10 that won by 46 points the last time they clashed. Reyes said it is imperative that Gilas leaves nothing to chance during the group phase, considering China and Iran's groupings. It's important that our other Asian competitors are in tough groups because there's just one that goes to the Olympics. I think China is in a pretty good group. They drew South Sudan, Iran, I think, drew Ivory Coast. There are teams that they can beat. Those are teams that they can beat, he said. As much as as I was looking at our group, I was looking at the teams that other Asian teams drew as well. Reyes will have some sort of an advantage when he steers Gilas on this stage, thanks to his wealth of international experience. That includes an appearance in the World Cup in Seville, Spain, back 9 years ago. But the seasoned mentor is also not no fool to think not much has changed in the sport since then. I think if we come in with a game that we brought in 2014, it's not going to be enough. We have to be much, much better, he said. I hope from now until then, we can find a way to really become much, much better team. I hope the whole Filipino nation is behind us and praying and supporting that we put the best team forward. This is a kind of situation where I've been in before. I kind of know what to expect. But then again, the game is always evolving, he said. The competition is always evolving and getting better. So it is incumbent on us to match that, to continue to do better. Updates from the NBA. NBA. Heat Knicks renew playoff rivalry. News supplied by Reuters for Inquirer.net. Shortly after the New York Knicks finished off the Cleveland Cavaliers on Wednesday, Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat stormed back in an unexpected first round series victory over the Milwaukee Bucks by authoring a dramatic comeback and taking overtime by storm. Those outcomes rekindled memories of an era from 1997 to 2000 when the Knicks and Heat met in a four straight postseasons that were fiercely contested, often extremely physical and featured numerous low-scoring games. 2 decades later, the teams meet for high stakes again when the fifth-seeded Knicks host the eighth-seeded Heat to open the Eastern Conference semifinals Sunday afternoon in the heart of New York. It's always good for the league when there's a Heat Knicks playoff series. Miami coach Eric Spoelstra said, the Knicks are in the second round for the first time since 2013 when they lost a six-game series to the Indiana Pacers. Before 2013, their last second round appearance occurred in 2000 when they outlasted the Heat in 7 games. Miami in the sixth number 8 seed to reach the second round. One of those teams was the 1999 Knicks, who advanced past the Heat on Alan Houston's game winner. The Houston shot was part of Heat Knicks playoff legend that was remembered for things like a brawl in Game 5 of a 1997 series and Knicks coach Jeff Van Gundy clinging to the leg of the Heat's Alonzo Mourning during a fight in 1998. The New York reached the second round this season by winning the final 3 games against Cleveland, including Wednesday's 106-95 clincher. Jalen Brunson, Jalen Brunson scored 23 points and R.J. Barrett added 21, and both players were productive in the series with Brunson averaging 24.0 points and Barrett averaging 17.4. Brunson and Barrett's production helped offset the limited production of Julius Randle, 14.4 points and 6.4 rebounds, who was not fully recovered from a sprained left ankle. Randle sprained his left ankle March 29 against Miami, missed the final 5 games of the regular season, then sprained the ankle again Wednesday after playing 16 minutes. Randle has been practicing, and the Knicks are hopeful their regular season leading scorer 25.1 points and rebounder 10 can play Sunday. Miami advanced after Butler dominated its five-game series with Milwaukee, known for dazzling playoffs performances like in 2020 when he willed the Heat into the NBA Finals. Butler averaged an astounding 37.6 points at the first round and scored 42 on Wednesday. In the clincher, Butler hit a tying basket while falling to his back with zero point 0.5 seconds remaining in regulation before the Heat completed the comeback from 16 points down for a 128-106 overtime victory. We're a good group of basketball players and we're having fun whenever we're out there, Butler said. We're playing basketball the right way and good things happen if you do that. Butler scored 56 points in Game 4 when Miami dominated the fourth quarter of a 119-115 victory. The two close wins in the final two games occurred after the Heat tied an NBA record by winning 24 games by 5 points or less during a 44-win regular season that sent them to play in round. I know what it's about. I know what we're about, said Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau, who coached Butler with the Chicago Bulls and Minnesota Timberwolves. So let's go. The Heat also advanced by shooting 45% from a three-point range despite losing Tyler Hero to a right hand injury in Game 1. Hero's replacement, Duncan Robinson, made 14 of 19 attempts, 73.7%, and Butler was 12 of 27, 44.4%. Those performances occurred after Miami ranked 27th in the regular season by shooting 34.4% from behind the arc. And that concludes our news update for May 1st, for today, May 1st, Monday, Labor Day. Shoutout lang po muna tayo before we end our live streaming. So si Sister Malu Gomez Latavio is watching. Hi Malu. Thanks for watching. Si Admin Sol is also watching. Si Brother Eric Taniedo is watching. Good morning, Bro Eric. At si Bro Gerald Dennis Calamyong is also watching. Hello, Bro Gerald. Good morning din sa inyo. Maraming salamat po sa mga nag-join sa ating live stream for today. And I'll be seeing you again tomorrow for our news update here sa MSP Kape at Balita sa Umaga. MSP Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Hatid sa inyo ni Kuya Dong.
Bawat araw sa ating buhay laging may pagsulong at dumarating sama-sama nating harapin. Ibayag ang iyong loob, mayroon lang kaibigan ang dumamay sa'yo sa pagtutulungan. Pag-ibigayan, pagpapalagin ay tatamasan. kasama kaibigan sa lahat ng magkakamayan. Magkasaktan tayo, kakapit. Bawat araw sa ating buhay, laging may pagsubok na dumarating. Diyos ang patuloy natin. Lahat ng hirap ngayong nararanasan ay pansamantala. Pag-asa ay darating, magdinig-dig. Sisikat na ang iwanan sa dilim. Magsasaka, magkakapit sa hamon ng buhay, di ba magkatilo? Ako ang iyong kasamang kaibigan sa ating kapamahayan. Magkasaka, magkakapit, amat magbuhay at magwawakilos. Tayo ay magkasamang kaibigan sa lahat ng pagkakamayan. Magkasaktan tayo.